Welcome, ladies of the Rook.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So I have to tell you, before I spoke to you guys on the phone, I was reading the book, I was going through, and then I found out you guys had been told to abandon the book if you were reading it. So
because Olivia and I sort of aren't in the book.
Right.
Very
So you were like, what is happening?
Why have we signed up for this series and we're not in it?
But it's, a lot of it, they took the source material and the idea in the world and kind of did a spin-off of that. Like, what if there was a world that existed where there was the Sheke and this secret agency within the government that, did all these things, and also it was comprised of people with these superhuman powers. And I say superhuman because they're not superpowers like we normally think of in pop culture, but all of our powers are grounded in what we all have as human beings. Just some people have it to the nth degree. So that's why reading the book wasn't like you can't read it, but it wasn't going to help us in our journey to do the show.
And ours is more realistic and gritty and no dragons. Not in season 1.
Yeah. I almost left the show when I found that out. I was like, episode 5, they were like, where are the dragons? Am I going to ride one?
So real quick, for people who have not seen this show, EVA, is that the correct term?
Extreme variant ability.
It sounds so much more impressive when you say it, so I'll just let that happen.
It's just the accent, yeah.
Exactly, so let's go with that. This is, as you said, a group in the British government, super secret group.
Secret wing of British intelligence.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm just soundbiting it. Yeah.
I love it.
But what I love about Myfanwy in the book is that she's kind of like a paper-pushing wonk right? Like, she's not like
she's a bureaucrat. She's a bureaucrat. She sort of failed in her abilities to be a field agent and to be sort of, she does the paperwork and she's very good at it, and she has, I would say a bit of OCD about it and very organised, and, work is her life and there's not much outside of it. Until
dun dun dun.
her memory's taken. And then she's like, can I say fuck it?
Sure.
No, but there's no, she has nothing to. Myfanwy's a really dangerous character because the most dangerous people are people that have nothing to lose, and she's lost everything. So she's pretty dangerous in the sense that there's nothing holding her back. She's just acting purely on her instinct and in the world around her.
Right.
I was reading this book last night, and I told Emma today, Myfanwy, which is Welsh, in my book last night, unrelated, it said it means the darling one or the loved one.
And it is Myfanwy is the correct pronunciation.
Say it again.
Myfanwy.
Oh, why do we say Myfanwy?
Because,
like Tiffany, you made a very big thing about
Daniel, the author, the names Myfanwy and Bronwyn. Bronwyn is Myfanwy's.
Also Welsh.
Oh, Welsh, but he babysat twins in Australia that had Welsh heritage, and they were called Myfanwy and Bronwyn, but because it was difficult for Australians to say the name, they just called them Myfanwy.
Myfanwy.
So it just became Myfanwy.
Myfanwy.
And that is from the author's mouth.
My character's name is Monica. That's pretty much all I can really tell you about that one.
Reed.
Yeah, it's pronounced Reed.
Maybe related to Oliver Reed.
It's
descendant.
It's pronounced the same way, and it is pronounced the same as it is. Do I? Well, all the Reeds do.
Well, he was kind of an incredible man, an actor. I mean, God, talk about
the Reeds
presence.
usually are.
So Myfanwy in the very first episode wakes up, doesn't know who she is, finds notes that her former self has written to her mind-wiped self. So what would you put in a note if you knew you were not going to know who you were? Like, what would be the most important thing that you think you would need to know?
In the past, because I have been asked this, and I've said, you have a dog, just so that I would know to feed it and let it out, because I feel like it's something that, the only thing really that relies on me, so I would probably leave that, like, FYI, whatever's going on, please remember to feed the dog. You have one.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that I would put a couple of my best friends' numbers on there and say, this is what you need to know. Here are where your car keys are. This is your code to your phone.
That's kind of like what
this is what Uber is.
Yeah. This is what Uber is.
And so don't call your mom because she'll freak out. Like, find yourself first, then let your mom know you're okay. What would you?
I would say, don't worry, start over.
I like it. That's ballsy.
The Zen approach to mind wiping.
You wake up like, who am I? Who am I?
But there is a logic to it because all your loved ones would tell you and fill you in. But the great thing would be to have no baggage, no history, and just start over.
Right.
What I do every time I get a new phone, when they're like, "Oh, have you updated your cloud?" and I'm like, "No," and they're like, "We're going to lose everything," and I'm like, "Great, let's start again." And the people that will contact me are the ones that I'll stay in touch with, and otherwise,
But you know, I will say
I don't need that.
Something that I thought was something that has come up, you know, and it just keeps coming up in my head since I first read the script, but really watched Emma play
Mifanwi.
Mifanwi, or Mifane, if you're from Australia. Then
Cockney. You're not also very good.
it was Australian.
okay.
Mifamwi. Let me just tell you
Whatever you say,
something
Olivia.
about the Brits and their
Miffany. That's
Mifane. That sounded like it sounded Irish to me. I don't know. I really can't tell you the difference. They really know their
Well, you were about to
regions.
talk about something nice about me. Go on.
Now I have nothing nice to say about you all.
We were all really interested. Go on. What were you saying?
Say something pretty about my hair. I'm just kidding. Thanks. When I read it in the script, it stuck with me, but really watching Emma play it on screen and seeing Miffany struggle with the idea of like who is she and trying to find herself and the clues that she leaves, something that has kept coming up in my mind is like what Julie was saying, the things that you leave behind when you do have this. It is very scary and you think it's the worst thing ever to wake up and not know who you are, but there is this freedom to it as well, and there's this, not to give too much away, but there is this scene where she goes back to her apartment for the first time and she's going around and seeing, you know, her clothes and it's, you know, her personal things and things that she's left behind, and there's this thing that she finds that is a telltale sign of an OCD that she has, and something that is a very self-destructive behavior that she has for, you know, that her character has, you know, has dealt with. When she woke up with no memory, she didn't have those.
Her brain had recalibrated.
Yeah, there was no more of that baggage or that thing that makes you.
trauma.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
trauma's
it's
gone.
interesting.
The trauma is gone. There's a new trauma, but like that other trauma that she'd carried for so long wasn't there. And I think about that a lot. Like, that's
It could be very liberating.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's that you get to start over. She doesn't. She decides to go back in and you know, figure things out.
Otherwise
But
there wouldn't be a show, you know. I had to.
there wouldn't be a show.
That was such a thoughtful and deep answer. And now my next question is complete rubbish, but
That's where we excelled. Give us the rubbish.
we saw
rubbish
the Rook Gestalt kiss in the last episode, and that was one kiss, and it managed to almost flip a car, right?
Yeah.
So for anyone who does not know, maybe you can fill in. Rook Gestalt is 4 people. One of whom
It is a hive mind, so it's 4 bodies, 1 mind, 1 consciousness.
siblings.
Effectively.
Okay.
I feel like they're not
I
really.
feel like they're like more like
It-
clones, but they're not identical, but they're just, it's like the same person, but just split into
in 4.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, but
You could
what
get
is
it. Same person split in 4.
What is interesting, and this is, I didn't know this until after we'd shot it, but it's the first time that something physical has affected them in that way, and that's the power that Miffany has over them.
Something that was just a kiss.
Oh.
We're in a prestige drama, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, you get to it. Just keep watching. Get to the weird.
Yeah, there's gonna only be 3. One explodes. One explodes.
They all get so panicked.
We don't know which one it is though. One explodes. We don't know which one.
We've seen this is a reel for what's coming up in the rest of the season. It seems like things start to fall apart big time in the Sheke, and your characters kind of start to unite a little bit. What can you tell me about how they might work together?
It's just like the special relationship that the United States and Great Britain have. No, I think we're both characters that are searching for answers that no one's really giving us what we need, and so we kind of see that in each other. And
Like I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
exactly. And you know, it's an interesting dynamic. It's quite sweet, but how deep it goes is.
We have 2 really strong, very intelligent, very capable women who are desperate to understand something and to figure out this mystery. And
we're not in competition. Like I don't care why she's trying to find out her thing. She doesn't care why I'm. Do you know what I mean? Like we just want answers, and no one's giving us a straight answer.
we're in this world where, you know, Jolie's character is the king of it all and leading it all, and you know, it's when you're in somebody else's world and they hold all the pieces, you know, and you're desperate to find those answers, you've got to find little tunnels and ways around it, and sometimes that means aligning with somebody else and trying to figure that out. And that was pulling information. Yeah, and I was really excited to see that relationship come together, and and the scenes that we got to do together to figure that out was just it was just really fun to play, and it's something that I've wanted to play for so long. And I'll tell you, the Bechdel test. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and this show passes it. And I have a few rules, but the Bechdel test is one thing I can't really bring into my roles because I think I wouldn't be working. But this show, it does it effortlessly. It's not. I don't even think it's not intentional, and that's what's so great is that we all get to play these characters that are just so rich and fun, and these dynamics, and it's just such a treat.
Right. Just before we wrap, Julie, your character comes in. I mean, she's like the boss when we first meet her. In those scenes that are coming up, she's in a wheelchair. She's like, it looks like things are maybe off, going down for her a little bit.
I think by the end of the series, as you said, everything's gone off and everyone slightly falls apart to rearrange. So, but I think she stays powerful. I got to roar at one point, which was really exciting.
We're not talking about metaphorical roaring. We're talking about actual roaring.
Actual roaring.
Wow.
Oh God!
You want to give us a little? You want to give us a little?
No, I can really roar. It will frighten you. But
that's like a threat. I can really roar. I can roar. I am woman here and roar.
Thank you
it just
guys.
wouldn't be appropriate. Trust me.